You're listening to Behind the Bulldogs on News Radio WBRN.
Off the left side to the end zone. Touchdown Bulldogs.
If I'm even having like a bad day on the course or something, I just look down at it and just feel like thankful that I'm able to be out there.
Making sure that we're like where our feet are and we're not thinking about outside distractions.
Welcome back to Behind the Bulldogs, our summer episode series. Brandon, we're joined today by a familiar guest host. She's back, Tatum Outlaw, in for Brody Kaiser today. Tatum, what's going on?
I am happy to be here. I'm happy to be here whenever I can be, which is not every week, which is kind of sad, but you know, I like to pop in when I can. So,
I mean, you're just keeping the listeners on their toes at this point.
Exactly. Maybe we'll just pretend that's on purpose and it's just like a little thing to keep people engaged.
Just keep them thinking. Yeah. That's what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's all for a purpose, folks. Anyway, our special guest today, we are talking Ferris State pep band, marching band, and we have the man, the myth, the legend with us here today, Dr. Dan Atwood. Dr. Dan, thanks for spending some time with us.
Brandon, Tatum, thank you so much for having me with you today.
It's so great to have you on, and we have so much to talk about here on the show, bringing back the marching band, you know, what that process was like, some things looking forward to next year, and we'll touch on all of that. But before we do that, big shout out to Johnson's Automotive, our great sponsor here on the show. Domestic, foreign auto repair, you know where to go, johnsonsautobr.com. Visit them in Big Rapids and Mount Pleasant. Big shout out to Johnson's for supporting the show. All right, let's start from square one, Dr. Dan. Bringing back a marching band, a full-fledged pep band, got to have a lot of steps to it. When did the process truly start in terms of the vision for you getting involved to make it all happen? What was kind of that first stepping stone along the journey?
Yeah, so it actually started the moment I arrived here, which was almost 3 years ago now. 2023 was the first time we started moving forward with the marching band process. The first thing I was hired to do was to do a feasibility study to find out, is it even possible to bring the marching band back? You know, is that something that the students want? Is it something the community would support? Would the university support it? So I did a feasibility study, presented that to President Pink, and then had to go through the process to get that approved. So that was an entire year to get that process done.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was a lengthy process. And then in year two, once it was finally approved, then we had to go through the process of what is this band really going to look like? You know, what are the uniforms going to look like? We had to order instruments. We had to decide, you know, where's the band going to rehearse? How is that going to work? Where are we going to practice? The football team's on the field. What, you know, it's just so many different logistics behind getting the band up and running. So year two was really handling all the logistics, getting instruments ordered, uniforms ordered, you know, recruiting students, you know, showing up at every possible event I could be at and saying, hey, come join us, you know. So that was year two. And then, of course, year three, this past year, is when the band finally made its appearance for the first time at the football game. So, yeah, it's been a lengthy process, but it's definitely been worth it.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I know it's been a very lengthy process indeed. And the fans were so excited this last year, just seeing them, being able to interact and being able to see the band. Just talk about that first game, that first halftime entertainment where you just sat and watched. And what was that feeling like just to be able to see the product? Took 2 years, every visionary board, every drawing, you mentioned every meeting to make this happen. What was the moment for you just seeing them out there for the very, very first time?
Yeah, I wish I could say that I just sat and watched, but there was a lot of nerves going on. There was a lot of fear. So it wasn't able to just sit back and watch, but it was such an exciting moment. I mean, not only for me, you know, having worked on it for 2 years to bring this back, but for the students. You know, so many students had been here, you know, 2-3 years as pep band members, which, you know, we've had a pep band for a long time, but so many of those students wanted this band back too. And so for them to finally get this band back and be able to march, especially for those senior students who be able to end their final year here at Ferris as part of a marching band, was just an incredible experience. And knowing all of the work that the students did during band camp, which we have a camp that runs 2 weeks prior to the start of classes, and they are here. They start rehearsal at 9 a.m. and they usually finish about 8 p.m.
Whoa.
So it's full day every day, including weekends, Saturday and Sunday, we're out there. So it's a long process, and they put in a tremendous amount of work. And so coming onto the field that first time in full uniform with all of the new instruments, knowing the work they put in, you could see the pride that the students had in, you know, what they were about to present. And like I said, I'd be lying if I said there wasn't a lot of nerves and a lot of fear going into that too. But they did a great job for their first time out. And each game, our goal was to show improvement. And so as long as they improved each week, that's all we could ask for.
Amazing.
Yeah, and we've definitely felt, the difference in even just environment. Like, I've always been such a marching band fan. So, and like, I had a very good one at my high school. And like, I feel like it's just something that is always timeless and just can never be replaced. Like the feeling of that. And, at the sports games, it's just a different energy, a different feeling. So for the people that don't know, could you give us your history with how you ended up here and how you, found your passion for all of this?
Yeah. So my passion for music initially started when I was in high school. I had a high school director who I looked at what he did, not only with me and how he inspired me, but just how he interacted with other people that were involved. He was a theater director and our band director. And just seeing the impact that he had on people and the positive influence that he had. I remember standing on the stage because I was also involved in theater and I helped build sets. And so I was helping him build the sets and I was watching him interact with another student and I saw the impact that he was having. And as I was watching that, I remember thinking, I want to be that. Mm-hmm. I want to have that type of impact with people. Mm-hmm. And so that started my whole path into music education. I taught for about 11 years in public schools at the middle school and high school level. And then I was hired at St. Francis University, which is a small D1 school in Pennsylvania, where I did the same thing. I actually created a marching band program for them.
Wow.
Yeah. So a lot of people say it's a once in a lifetime opportunity to create a program.
Not for you.
I got it twice. So I was very fortunate in that sense.
Yeah.
And I think that was a big factor in terms of me getting the job here.
Yeah.
Once I came here and applied, they kind of saw, oh, you've done this already.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. And then Scott Cohen was the person at the time that oversaw the humanities office. And when I did the interview, he was part of that process and got me hired in. And of course, President Pink has been incredibly supportive of bringing the marching band back. And so that whole process was, again, a little nerve-wracking, but such an exciting opportunity to be able to do it all over again and bring another marching band back to another university.
I love that.
Call you a cowboy. This isn't your first rodeo.
Yeah,
that's right. That's
absolutely. Right. But what has been the hardest part in the process? I know you mentioned recruiting-wise, finding students is obviously a very difficult task when you're looking at a lot of numbers in terms of filling the marching band. I know when we talked, I think it was last year when you were really going through this process, the ultimate goal, which obviously right now is still a work in progress, but you would like to have the marching band set and then branching into pep bands where you almost have two synchronous bands that can go separate places and have marching band all separate, when the numbers go up. But what's been the really hardest part in terms of the process of making it all happen?
Yeah, I think the recruitment piece is a difficult part, partly because we don't have a music major here.
Yeah.
So all of the students that come here to participate in any of our music ensembles are doing it just because they want to continue to be a part of it. And many students feel like when they come here, they won't have the time, to get band or concert band or jazz band or any of the other ensembles we have into their schedule. So I think that's one of the biggest challenges is just trying to reassure incoming high school students that no, you will have time to do this. It will be okay and you'll make it through. So I think that's one of the biggest challenges. Of course, the initial process, just the feasibility study, that was a huge undertaking and just reaching out to so many community members, faculty, administration, students, and just finding out, is it even possible to make this happen? I think that was one of the biggest challenges to this too.
Very, very cool.
Well, we've seen it is possible and we've loved just having the marching band. I want to say back because we did have one, but that's not anything that anyone here has experienced. So yeah. I think it's fair to say it's like a new thing for us, but year one, you put everything into play. It's here, it happened. So I would like to hear your thoughts on how everything went. Was it what you expected? Were your expectations low? What are some things that maybe turned out different? Just all of it.
Yeah, well, we don't set expectations low. We still have high expectations. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't change course.
Right. Sure. We're resilient. Yeah.
So we did have to change course at certain times through band camp with different aspects. I mean, everybody coming into a marching band program, even if they have experience in high school, what we do may be different than what they did in high school. So for some students, it's unlearning habits that they had and then learning our style and learning our process. So that's another challenge that we have. But all in all, I mean, I think that the students did an excellent job last year. I think we gave the audience and the community a really strong first showing for the marching band in year one. And as I said, like last year, our goal was every week we want to see improvement. And it's the same thing going year to year. This year we want to see improvement over what we did as an entire ensemble last year. We have the goals. Last year, our goal was, the official goal was 55 students. We wanted to have 55 students in year one, and we had 78.
Wow.
And the goal for this year, the official goal is 75 students. And my unofficial goal for myself is I'd like to hit the triple digits. I'd like to have 100 students on the field. So right now we're in a good place. I think we're definitely going to hit that 75 mark and pushing toward that 100 mark this year.
Wow. That's so exciting.
Yeah. And in terms of the performance, I know you guys really had a great, elaborate, great transition performance in terms of halftime. Is it run it back here in 26, or are there maybe some wrinkles and changes coming?
Oh, it's a new show every year.
Love it. Love it.
So last year we kind of told the story of the marching band forming from Dream On by Aerosmith, that it was a dream to bring it back to, Don't Stop Believin'. So that we kind of told the story of the band coming back, Signed, Sealed, and Delivered by Stevie Wonder. Once President Pink was signed, sealed, and delivered it. And we did the Phoenix, like from the ashes rising, that sort of thing. So, but this coming year, we haven't really titled the show yet. But it's something along the lines of powerful women of music. So we're going to be doing Crazy in Love by Beyonce.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Okay.
A whole different feel. We're going to do Raise Your Glass by Pink.
Wow. I'm here for all this.
Right. We're going to do Ariana Grande, which is Dangerous Woman.
Yes.
And then our other song that we're going to do is Where's My Husband by Ray. So,
that's a popular one.
Wow.
Yeah. So every year people can expect some sort of theme from the marching band. But our philosophy, too, is that we're here to help create that college game day experience. So you're not necessarily going to hear us doing Beethoven or Mozart, that sort of thing on the field. It's going to be recognizable, upbeat, fun music that people will hopefully enjoy for, as an audience member, too.
That's awesome.
For sure. I definitely think it does add to the college experience. I literally said that seeing like the first game, and then also like with the cheer and stunt team as well. I was like, those just feel like big crucial factors that we were just missing in the atmosphere here. So I'm excited to see what it looks like next year. I don't know. Yeah,
we're looking forward to it. Like I said, when we announced the show to the students, they were all really excited about the music, stuff that they recognize and stuff that they love to even listen to now too. So it's going to be a fun show.
Do you have like a marching band or like a performance that you saw like growing up or whenever it was that like kind of gave you like a light bulb moment or inspired you or inspire like how you want your groups to be someday? I don't know if that's like a relevant question, but.
Well, no, I think one of the big things is there's a whole organization out there called DCI, Drum Corps International, and they are kind of the elite marchers of the world, and they compete, against each other. It's really a lot like athletics. They have their practices, and they're kind of the teams, and they they travel all over the country performing and competing against each other. And there are people who are fanatical about it, who they have their team, the band that they cheer for, and people follow their scores and everything. It's just very similar to sports. And for us, we're very fortunate because our assistant director of the marching band, Professor Micah Laird, actually marched in DCI for a couple years.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, and he marched with one of the more well-known groups too, called the Blue Devils.
Okay.
And so he marched with them and actually won 2 championships with them.
Man.
So he is fantastic. He's really kind of our marching tech. He just is so good at helping the students to understand what the marching technique should be and how it should look and how to carry themselves and their body positions, all of that stuff. There's a lot more that goes into it than just moving on the field.
Just taking a step is 3 different steps, it feels like. It's unbelievable to watch it.
Yeah. And then we're also very fortunate because we have a color guard, the students who do flags and rifles and that sort of thing. And our color guard instructor, George Montoya, is currently marching with DCI right now.
Oh, wow.
So he's currently touring the country with the Cavaliers. And so right after he'll finish competing, and then the following week we start our band camp. So he'll come right off of tour and then join us as our color guard instructor. So we're very fortunate to have a really qualified and great staff that help us out during band camp.
That's awesome.
That's incredible. Now, also touching on the other half, bringing the pep band back full swing. And I have to say, you guys bring energy that the fans just need to hop on board with. When it comes to basketball, when it comes to hockey, there's a power play or free throws. We're seeing you guys jump. We have to be a little bit concerned that the stands are going to fall through. You guys are jumping around. It's a lot of fun. Now, with that side of it, obviously last year was with hockey and basketball, a lot of ups and downs. There was a lot of fun games there. With that experience, is there things that you want to really develop there going into next year? And, some things you'd want to add to the pep band side as well, which is also a crucial part when marching season and football season comes to an end.
Yeah, well, anything that people can think of to help us get the student sections more involved and the audience more involved, like we would love to see a lot more crowd interaction and involvement in all of the games. So anything we can do there, but it's not something for us as a pep band or a marching band. It's not something that happens by accident. It is something that we do talk about in rehearsals. And what are you doing when you're not playing? Mm-hmm. Because there's a lot of time that we just have to be engaged and see what's going on in the game and cheer along with the fans that are, seeing scores, whether it be basketball, hockey, football, it doesn't matter. So it is something that we do talk about and making sure that we're trying to do some of the cheers and hopefully getting the crowd involved and doing some of these chants and cheers that we want to get going in the bleachers. And so if anybody's listening that gets comes to any of these games and you hear us chanting and cheering, join us, be a part of it and get involved. But it is, like I said, it is something that we do talk about.
Yeah, very interesting. For
you
sure.
guys could maybe, I was just thinking, because I know sometimes pep bands like to dress up and participate in themes. I don't know, you guys could find a way to share themes with the fans or something just to I don't know, or I've always seen when I was in high school, they would start a chant and then point at us and we'd have to reply back to them. I don't know. I think that could be fun. I always liked doing that.
Yeah, we just received all of the theme nights. They were just sent to us from the athletics department. So now we have that. And so we can make sure that our students are involved in those themes. I actually just had a conversation with one of our band parents. Her daughter is actually part of our band program now. She was a freshman last year, but they created a whole band parent organization.
Oh, I love that.
To help support. And so I talked with them about things that we can do too. So those theme nights were one of the things that we talked about, and making sure that we get that out to parents too. So the parents are coming to games. Get involved in the theme nights.
They'll for sure chime in as well.
Yeah. And I know last year at hockey, we did the Star Wars theme. And so, on that night, we actually got the Star Wars music and we played some of the Star Wars music from the bleachers. So we're hoping to do all of that with whiteouts, redouts, whatever we have, and whatever we can do to be more involved. We're all about that.
Love that. And you've mentioned band camp a couple times. Could you give us the rundown of what that looks like? You can go into as much detail as you'd like.
It is intense.
Yeah.
It is a lot. Like I said, we start breakfast at 8 a.m. and then rehearsal begins at 9. And they rehearse all morning. We break it up. Sometimes it's a full band music rehearsal. Sometimes it's out on the field learning the drill that they need to know for pregame and halftime. Because it's not just knowing the music. It's also knowing where you're going and how long does it take you to get there and what path are you taking.
Performance.
Yeah. So, we'll do some full band music, full band drill. We'll do sectional rehearsals, which just the woodwinds, just the drum line, that sort of thing to make sure that we're solidifying the music and they know their parts. But that goes all day long. Like I said, we start rehearsal at 9 a.m. We take an hour for lunch, an hour for dinner, and then we usually finish around 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. So it's full days, long days, 7 days a week. There's no days off for the marching band during band camp.
Wow.
There's so many benefits that the athletes can feel, as one that watch the band from the sideline at one point, and now being able to have a little small part of it and coordinating a lot of the things that you guys have where halftime has been a blessing, just to be able to watch that from a bird's eye view. It's been unbelievable. And I know the athletes, first down, just hearing the taps, moving forward, just the adrenaline, right? The hairs up underneath the pads are going up. There's an excitement to it. What about it gives so much adrenaline to the players themselves? There's a drive there that not a lot of people can relate with, because there's only 100 or less of you guys compared to the thousands of fans that are in there, and they're jiving too. What's the biggest drive that you find behind the students that are putting the performance together and being at camp to start, going through those grueling sessions of learning and being able to practice to get to the game day? I mean, talk about some of the benefits of that and being able to see the success from them too.
Yeah, well, I think it's very similar to athletics. I mean, you have those rehearsals, those practices that you have where you're digging it out, and it's rough. And sometimes you go into a game and you don't necessarily feel like you're ready to really play. Like you're exhausted, you're tired. And our students feel the same way. Sometimes they come into those games and they've had a long week and they've had a long rehearsal. We always rehearse before the game too. So they're a little bit exhausted, but putting that best foot forward and putting that on the back burner and giving your all. So I think that's one of the things that we need to, continue to strive for and continue to push for. But that's something I think we all experience no matter what we were doing,
Athletics within athletics.
Yeah.
Full circle moment.
Basically, yeah. Do you have like, what's your favorite part about all of it? Or do you have like do you have a special spot for like a certain instrument that you enjoy? Or like, not to find the drama, but
just picking your favorite child.
That's
all it is.
Any of my students that might listen to this, they're going, oh, really? They're your favorite? Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks, Tatum. I appreciate
I'm
that.
thinking from like a coach perspective. Like obviously my coaches teach all these different like positions, but I know that like I have coaches who have a special spot in their heart for like this position. Maybe they played that when they were younger, or like they just see that well, or like, I don't know. I'm just curious.
Yeah. So musically speaking, I like for marching band, especially, it's mostly about drumline and brass, not to negate our woodwind players. We love them too. Saxophones and flutes and clarinets, we love them too. But marching band is really driven by the drumline and the brass players. And so that's always a big thing for us when we're recruiting, we're looking to try to get as many of those students involved as possible. But for me, not the non-musical things are also what's really important to me, because as I said, we don't have a major here. So none of our students are going to leave here and necessarily be a professional musician or teach it or that sort of thing. So for me, we do a lot. My PhD is actually in organizational leadership.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And so for me, leadership is a huge part of what we do in the marching band. So we are setting them up to become leaders in any organization or any job field that they choose to go into. And we actually focus on that. We have a half hour every day during band camp where we focus on leadership qualities and what it takes to be a strong, positive leader. So for me, I always say that for some teachers, music is the means and the ends by which they teach, and they don't care necessarily how they get that. And I know a lot of teachers, I had professors who taught through fear, and they got what they wanted out of the ensemble because we were afraid of them. And however, for me, I want music to be the means by which I teach a greater end, which is teaching you how to be a strong leader and teaching you how to be a contributing member of society. And so that I think is the most important part to me. And what I value the most are those leadership opportunities that we provide them.
My first thought was the movie Whiplash. When you just said that, now I'm like, oh, I can understand where that's coming from a little bit. Not saying that it's, equal sign, this equals this, but music can make such a further impact than anybody can ever imagine. And that goes with a simple marching band performance for somebody going to a football game for the first time. Maybe it's homecoming for the one time a year that they go. I mean, it makes a huge difference in the community too.
Well, the community support has been paramount here. I mean, the community has been so supportive of the marching band coming back from day one. Even before the band was here, I had people from the community stopping me at Walmart or downtown, just asking, where are we in the process? Is it going to happen? Are we going to make this happen? And fortunately, once it came back, then people were very excited about it. And we've just, like I said, we've just received so much support from community members. Many of them stop at basketball games and things like that to thank the band for being there. And so it does mean a lot that we do have not only the support, like I said, from President Pink and from our faculty and administration here at the university, but that the greater Big Rapids community is also very supportive of the marching band coming back.
That's amazing. And what might be like a common misconception that people might have about anything you guys do, or what's something that is difficult that people might not understand?
Ooh.
I think part of it is just what it takes to get the band to any performance.
Yeah. We just see the final product and we just have fun with it.
Yeah. And it's a lot of the logistics that go behind moving the band from point A to point B.
Yeah.
A lot of people will get messages from people that will ask hey, can the band show up tomorrow to do this? It's like, I have 80 people that I have to coordinate.
That's too many puzzle pieces.
Yeah.
You got all the transportation and the logistics.
Yeah. So, you being in athletics, all of this stuff that goes behind that. But I think sometimes just the average person doesn't realize to get 80 people moving and, coordinating all of those schedules and the logistics behind all of the instruments that need to be transported, the students themselves who need to be transported, organizing, and then further travel, just looking at the hotel accommodations that might be needed and that sort of thing. So there's so many things that go behind the scenes in terms of just getting the band to show up.
Yeah.
Let alone learning the music or doing a field show. It's just getting them there is sometimes a challenge.
That's a good point. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. Well, Dr. Atwood, we've got two more questions. I know we're running out of time, but I want to get these in. The first thing, what are things that fans can expect heading into 26, 27 in terms of marching band, pep band, the whole 9 yards?
Well, I think, like I said, it's going to be more of the same. So we're going to try to create that college game day atmosphere and be hopefully a source of pride for the university and for our community. But like I said, I think we're going to step it up a notch. And so this year, I want the students to be way more engaged, way more involved. Hopefully, you're going to hear a lot more chanting, a lot more cheering. And like I said, if you're listening and you come, get involved, join us, be a part of that. And then I think, again, hopefully, bigger numbers, we're hopefully going to hit that 75 number mark and hopefully pushing toward 100. So hopefully we're going to be bigger and better than last year.
Wonderful. And of course, maybe, just maybe somebody out there is like, hey, this sounds great and dandy. How do I get involved? Where should they go?
Well, the easiest thing to do is visit the website through ferris.edu. We have a music page, and it was just updated actually this week. So my contact information is on there. So you can just shoot me an email and we'll make sure that we get all of the information out to you about all of the ensembles, not just marching band. Yes, join us in marching band.
Sure.
But any of the ensembles, we'll get you involved and we'll send you more information.
Sweet. Well, Dr. Dan, thank you so much. It's been such a great session, being able to hear all the ins and outs and all the great things coming for the marching band, the pep band, and even the ensembles coming up this next year.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Tatum, any last thoughts?
No, I would just echo him, be involved. It's no fun to just sit there and not be involved in the excitement of the games. And I hope that now people know more about it and are more willing to just have fun with it and enjoy it.
Let's make music more fun again.
Yeah.
I mean, let's just have a grand old time.
Yeah.
Every event should feel like it's just a grand gathering and party.
Every event is a celebration.
I mean, if we're not living that way, then what's the point?
What's the point? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe. Big thanks to Johnson's Automotive. And we'll see you on the next episode of Behind the Bulldogs. Take care, everybody.